Hi everyone and welcome. I would like to share with you today a cute little tin that I did. I have done it up like a little shadow box, and I'll give you some little ideas so that you can do this yourself. I was over on Tina Walker's blog checking out some of the cute things that she makes, and came across a little tin that she had done like this, and chatted with her to find out how she used some of the products that she mentioned, so that I could try this myself. She's a really sweet lady and helped me a lot, and I will have a link down below to her blog where she has her tin on there for you to take a look at. It's really adorable. So what we started with here, at least what I started with, was a tin that I picked up from Craft Warehouse, and this is basically about 4 inches tall by about 3 inches wide, probably about 1.5 inches thick. It is 2 pieces. You've got your lid and the bottom piece. I've put them together with a couple little hinges and some glue in here because I want it to stay open. It won't be able to close, obviously, with the little objects hanging out of it. So that's what I wanted it to look like, the way I did mine. So what she suggests that you start with, of course, is your tin, and then pick up some of the foil that you can pick up in the craft store. I actually got this one, I believe, at Joann's. I think Michael's carries the same thing, and it's just a little 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch sheets of foil. They do have an adhesive back on them, like a little paper back that you peel off and then put, can get it to stick down to your surface. So I took one of my Paper Studio embossing folders. This is the one with the gears, and ran the sheet through it. This one here, I actually ran it through wrong. This is the negative. If you can see, the gears are pressed into it instead of standing out from it. So I didn't use this sheet on my tin, but I will find some other fun use for this sheet. It won't go to waste. So what I did to start with, and I'm not sure if this is exactly what Tina did, but this is the way I did it. I took and run the foil through the embossing folder, then peeled off the little paper backing, and actually I cut it to exactly the size here, and then peeled off the backing, and then placed it on the top of the tin, and then cut some strips and placed them around the top of the edges of the lid. I then took a burnishing tool and went around and made sure that all the edges were really smooth. If you put this foil on before you start adding the process of the inks and stuff on it, I think it was easier if I did it that way, to go ahead and be able to burnish it. The foil isn't necessarily going to cut you, but it is kind of sharp on the edges, so by burnishing it onto the metal lid really nicely, it also gave it a very nice finished look. So let me show you here so you can see how it is on the top of the lid. And I believe she covered the sides of her large part of her tin. Hers actually, I don't know if it had this little rim on it, but so how I dealt with that little rim was to actually just place the foil down in here, and then use my alcohol inks on the side. So once I had the foil where I wanted it on each piece, then I went ahead and took my Adirondack's, let's see if I can get this tip down here, This is the three that I used in combination to achieve what I wanted the look to be. I've thrown the package away, so I really can't tell you what colors these are, but they're just a really dark bronzy, different shades, and so that's what I use for my alcohol ink. And so then what you do is you take your alcohol ink, and I laid this down on a nice surface and dripped my alcohol ink in over the foil areas first, and then kind of used a brush to kind of dab it around. So you're gonna see how the different little effects are on there, and then I dripped it down the sides, and then took a foam brush and actually kind of patted it to give it this look, to give this little I don't know, kind of a not a solid finish on it, but kind of a gold rusty look. That's what I was trying to achieve anyway. I also did that to the inside, wherever it was going to show on the inside lip of the lid and the bottom. I then heat set that with my heat gun to kind of help the alcohol ink dry. Once that was dried, then I wanted to do something a little different with mine. Here's a little sample one, so you can see right here. Do you notice some of the areas that kind of look like they're melted, and that you've got little bits of gold and stuff on there? What I did is I took my melt art. This is an ultra thick embossing enamel. Get that in the, and I have actually three colors. This is the platinum, and I have the gold, and I have the bronze. And so these were the three colors that I actually used to create some of the different looks on the back of it. So what you do in that case is I went ahead and took a embossing dauber and used the embossing dauber and just tapped it in a few places. I didn't do it everywhere, just kind of here and there on it, and then went ahead and sprinkled in the different places the different embossing thick powder, and then you tap off the extra, and then use your heat gun. And it actually, the longer you leave the heat gun over the area, it begins to melt that embossing enamel on there, and it'll do it down into the gold and the platinum and the different colors that I put on. And I like that look. I just thought that was a really different kind of thing to do to it, and it kind of made it look like the gears had been melted to the tin. So I've got my glued on hinges back here to keep it open, and then let's see if I can get back far enough here so we can talk about what's inside it. I took some paper from one of Tim Holtz's lines to do in the background first, and just glued that in. I think it was from Crowded Attic, I think is the name of the paper pad. And this is the one that has the, what do you call those? The rulers. Thanks. Somebody yelled that out nicely. Thank you. And the other one was like the book one at the very back there. I also took some of my alcohol ink and dripped on the page back behind there first, and if you can see the little shiny corners, kind of went around on the very edges and the corners again with some of that embossing enamel, and that kind of gave it another great look. The little photo there of the three little boys came from the paper pack that Tim Holtz has out called Found Relatives. I'm hopefully gonna, I was carrying that in my Artfire store, and it's already been sold out, and I will be getting some more of them. What I did is the cards are actually pretty tall. They're actually taller than this a little tin right here. And so I put it on my scanner and scanned down this image and then cut it out and placed it in here because I really like that image, and it kind of went with some of the other elements of Tim Holtz that I have used here on this tin. And so that's how I got that. I've also inked the edges and then added a little of the alcohol ink as well. Of course, we've got some of the junkyard findings, the little faucet, and this is actually one of the zipper pulls. These also I carry in my Artfire store, and I cut the zipper, the top off the zipper pull, and then placed it back here. And this says memories or moments, sorry, and then here in this little tiny vial that I also carry those in my Artfire store, I've got little tiny watch parts. This tin will be for me to keep, so I put some of my own little keepsakes directly into this one. I am going to make some of these for sale, but since this one's going to be mine, I put some fun things that I'm going to plan on keeping. If you can see, they're the little tiny watch parts in there, and I also used a little of the alcohol ink down the side of the little vial. Down here in the bottom we have one of the little fuse looking, yes, if I can get the light off of it there, one of the little Tim Holtz fuses that says cute on it, and the little 3 and the little key that's up here. These and this one that says tab down below here are actually old, I believe. I don't know that they're old typewriter keys. They might be old cash register keys. I picked up a whole package of them at an antique fair that I went to in Washington, and so I've taken and added a couple of those, and of course we've got some little bit of roses there. And this little tiny clock is actually it was a working little clock. It's just a little fun let's see, what do they call those when they're replicas, little replica of a clock. I believe you can even still find those places. I have an old skeleton key here with the chain hooked over to the clock. And then of course got a little metal butterfly with a little key for its body. Again, I added a little bit of the alcohol ink. It sticks well to the metal pieces. And there's a little keyhole at the very back there. It's kind of a little hard to see. On top we have one of Tim Holtz's little water faucet ones. Also did the same thing with the embossing enamel and some of the alcohol ink on that. I have one of his little latches, keyhole latches on there. Just before I added all the little goodies inside, I also added a sealer over top of the tin and the alcohol ink, because to me it still felt kind of sticky, and so I went ahead and put a sealer over the top of it so that it wouldn't rub off or come apart at all. Anyway, this was really fun. Thank you, Tina, for the inspiration. I'm anxious to actually start covering all kinds of stuff in this. I think it really kind of came out neat. Let me know if you have any questions, and thank you again everyone for coming and taking a peek. Bye-bye.